Okay, this is part 3 of this first week's theater lecture. We were talking about Greek theater, and last time I walked you through the specific layout of what Greek theaters look like, the amphitheater. All Greek theater was performed this way. Yeah, I say that I'm covering Greek theater and like the light in some of your eyes dies because, this stuff is magnificently dull. At least it was for me when I first learned about it way back in high school. I had no interest in Greek theater whatsoever. I thought it was dumb, boring, and stupid, and yeah, I have since gained an appreciation for it because it is important. Everything that we like does come from it, and yeah, plus I got paid, to go over to Greece for a summer and teach it and perform it, so I have a much greater appreciation for it now than I once did, and yeah, it is worth knowing about because, weird as some of it may seem, everything you like comes from it. So, important to respect your elders and respect what they gave us. So, last time we were talking about Greek amphitheaters. This time I'm moving into specifically how this whole ball of wax got going with the birth of theater. So, when we're talking about that, when we're talking about the height of Greek theater, plays, playwriting, and performance in ancient Greece, we are talking about a long, long time ago, roughly 550 BC to 220-ish BC. That is, almost 3,000 years ago. So yeah, this stuff has been with us for a long time. We're talking about the Greek tradition. It's not that storytelling or live storytelling for an audience didn't exist other places in the world. There is a long tradition of performance and live storytelling in Asian cultures, in African cultures, in Native American cultures. Yeah, they're all over the place. But for our purposes, what we like, what we are all descended from, what our entertainment is based around, is rooted pretty firmly in its beginnings in ancient Greece. So I, again, will try to make this as painless as possible for you, but I think it is worth knowing about. So yeah, the height of Greek theater, roughly 550 BCE to 220 BCE. Here's how all of this got going. Okay, for as much as we get from Greek theater, some of it's very weird, and some of it has very little in common with the stuff that we like. For example, before theater even really gets going, we're talking about roughly 550 BCE-ish, right? Before theater really gets going, there were sort of live performances in front of audiences because, as a reminder, all performances in ancient Greece are religious ceremonies as well as entertainment. So the entertainment aspect emerges out of the religious aspect. So plays are religious ceremonies in addition to possible entertainment, right? So all of these performances before theater exists work like this. They are all musical in nature. Everything is sung, okay? Everything. You basically have a priest which walks out to the stone altar in the center of the orchestra who gives an invocation to the god that's being performed to, usually Dionysus, for ancient Greece, the god of wine and ritual ecstasy and theater. They invoke Dionysus, and then a large group of sweaty Greek guys would come out in togas, and they would stand together in a clump, and they would sing a story out loud to the audience. So that word chorus, obviously our word in modern English, choir, is descended from that Greek word chorus, right? So a choir is a group of people singing. So the Greek chorus was a group of people singing. And I said sweaty Greek guys. Yeah, sorry ladies. Sad to say, it has been a man's world for a long, long time, and women have been treated awfully for a long, long time. So while eventually there will be female characters in Greek theater, because of course you can't have stories without female characters, they're not going to be played by women because that's just gross, according to the Greeks. That tradition isn't going to change for a long, long time after ancient Greece. We'll talk about when it does change later on. But yeah, so originally though, you just have the chorus. The chorus walks out, they sing a story to the audience about some aspect of ancient Greek myth or history, some story that the audience is supposed to gain some moral lesson from. Now, they're all singing together in unison, but please do not think that I mean that it's going to sound good. It's not, they're not harmonizing, right? They're not like walking out and boys to menning it. No, they are singing a unison kind of pitch, whichever one is comfortable for them. So, yeah, I can't imagine that would sound really good to our ears, but they did. So, Greek chorus would walk out, and then they sing all together in unison a story to the audience about whatever ancient Greek figure they are talking about in the story. So, big clump of sweaty Greek guys walks out, stand there, start singing, and they, go like this. We are going to sing a song about the ancient Greek hero Batman, right? And that's how it would go. Here's how theater gets going, right? So you have these kind of performances sometime around 550 BC, in the 6th century BCE. You had one of these chorus members, a single performer, who got the bright idea to step out apart from the rest of the chorus. So he was like, all right, you guys, you're going to stand over there, clump together, and sing the way you always do. And I'm going to step out from you, and I'm going to sing song lines where I pretend to be the person that you are singing about chorus, right? So chorus marches out, single guy walks off by himself, chorus, we are going to sing a song about the ancient Greek hero Batman, and then the guy over here sings, I'm Batman, right? The ancient Greek hero Batman. So yeah, silly and stupid as that is, it's revolutionary. Nobody had ever done anything like that before, and to the Greek audiences, it was mind-blowing. They'd never seen anything like that, and yeah, this style, where a person would pretend, an act, to be the person that the other people were singing about, suddenly that becomes the newest, bestest thing ever. And it massively catches on. Now, the person who is given credit for being the first actor, is named Thespis. He was a member of the chorus, he stepped out, and he sang apart from the chorus. But please, again, don't misunderstand me. He's still singing, just like everybody else. It's just that he is singing apart from them. So Thespis stepped out, and he would sing the words of the individual characters in the story. And because, if you look at that picture of Epidaurus, which is huge, right? 15,000 people. I'm pretty tall back then, not so much anymore these days. But yeah, for back then, I'm 5'7". That would be pretty tall. But even still, in that picture, you can barely see me if you're up top. So in order to help the audience understand the story that's going on and the emotions that the character that Thespis is playing is going through, he would also wear large wooden masks to help distinguish one character from the other. Now, if you are following along in the slideshow, take a look at slide number, 35. It's a picture of the comedy and tragedy mask, the smiley face and the frowny face. You've seen them before. Now, here's the thing, though. That picture doesn't really give you the idea of what they were like when they wore them, because that image is mask designed to fit the human face. But that wouldn't be what it would look like for them, because they're wearing the mask with the frowny face, the smiley face, or whatever carved into it to help the audience all the way in the back be able to tell what's going on. And if that fits the normal human face, that's not big enough, right? Again, that picture of Epidaurus on slide 30, you can barely see me, right? So yeah, it would not be face size, the wooden mask that they would wear. So don't think that in your head. Instead, in your head, imagine a giant wooden tiki head mask, right? Like huge mask with a big smiley face or frowny face carved into it. That's what they're wearing, okay? In tragedy. So yeah, this style that Thespis invents, where he pretends to be the main character, catches on and suddenly becomes really popular, and everybody starts doing it. It became so popular that around the year 534 BCE, so about 15 years really after it gets going, suddenly now every year in Athens, Greece, the capital of Greece, there would be this yearly playwriting competition that would be the center of all Greek cultural life. For 1 week, they would have this competition where playwrights would stage their new works over the year that they had written for 1 week, just nonstop, one after the other, and perform them in front of everybody who comes to see them from all over Greece. And that's the thing, everybody from all over Greece does come to see them. It is the center of cultural life, this playwriting competition that happens every year. It's also, though, not just the center of their cultural life, but because plays for the ancient Greeks are religious ceremonies, it's also part of the center of their religious life too. So yeah, that is why everybody comes, because you are watching entertainment, but you are also participating in worship to the gods. So the style that Thespis invents, right, becomes known as a tragedy. And Thespis was credited as creating that style, which then caught on, and then suddenly everybody's doing it. There will be comedies in ancient Greece. There are plenty of them. But depending on which sources you're looking at, the Greeks were really more fans of the tragedy style of play than the comedy. We'll get into exactly what those terms mean later on. But yeah, these tragedies were performed at this playwriting competition every year, and that became the center of all Greek life. So all of the plays that would be performed every year doubled as worship ceremonies and offerings to the Greek god of wine and ritual ecstasy, Dionysus. So, for 1 week out of every year, everybody in Greece showed up in Athens and watched, 24 hours a day for 7 days a week, a bunch of theater. And because the plays are worship ceremonies to Dionysus, they got real drunk and real nasty when they weren't watching the plays, right? So there's a lot of that going on. So everything we like comes out of the plays that were written and performed in this playwriting competition for a period of couple of hundred years. So, in your mind right now, look at me, in your mind, imagine a movie that you really like. I'm not saying your favorite movie, but imagine a movie that you really, really like, and think about that movie and name it to yourself right now. Whatever movie you choose, right? Be it Friday, be it Ghostbusters, be it Jaws, be it Dark Knight, be it Spider-Man, be it The Wizard of Oz, be it The Never-Ending Story. Every movie you can think of descends from this playwriting competition. So, here's the thing I want you to remember. Every movie you've ever liked ever comes from a week-long, drunken, alcohol-infused sex orgy from ancient Greece. I mean, especially Wizard of Oz. Think about it. Anyway, they say you never learn anything in school, but yeah, tell people you learn that every movie they've ever liked descends from a drunken Greek week-long sex orgy, because they all do. So yeah, put that in your pipe for a while. All right, so this style, these plays, this playwriting competition, yeah, their worship ceremonies, it becomes like a central part of their culture. So here's how it works for the ancient Greeks. Most of the year, the Greeks worship the god Apollo, the god of the sun, the god of order and lawfulness and discipline, right? Apollo. But for 1 week out of every year, everybody shows up in Athens and watches this huge playwriting competition, and they switch their worshiping ceremonies from Apollo, the god of order, to Dionysus, the god of theater, but also wine and ritual ecstasy. So yeah, people showed up, they watched a lot of theater, they got real drunk, real turnt, and real dirty probably. Alright, so that's that. Okay, pause for a second to let you catch your breath from the revelation that, the Wizard of Oz, think about it, descends from a week-long drunken Greek sex orgy, and then we'll move on in just a sec.